Spend 40 days and every day you try something new, something that you haven't done before, or alter the way you do things. Hi and welcome to another lab report. This time we talk about an experiment that I did based on this book, The King's Curriculum by Johnny Manas. And this book is about self-initiation, and it's full of challenges as well to prepare yourself for your self-initiation. I'm not going to talk about this book. I'm going to talk about one of the challenges that I did from this book, and it's called the 40-day. It's in the part about new neurology. See if it says the challenge: begin activating your brain's frontal lobe by subtly alternating everything you do. Walk into a fresh landscape of new neurology by taking actions you've never taken before. Develop the habit of doing something new. Actions to take: behave in a way inconsistent with your patterns by cultivating novel choices that activate your brain's frontal lobe, drive different routes, eat unfamiliar food, use your non-dominant hand, meet different people, go to strange places, wake up at odd hours, and as you indulge in a 40-day quest for new experience. So that's the whole idea. Spend 40 days and every day you try something new, something that you haven't done before, or alter the way you do things. Because that's the fact, right? We do things in a certain way every day. My life is very much like that. I'm in a place where everything is very much about routines and rituals. Like it's like almost Groundhog Day sometimes. It's like taking the kids to preschool, get to work, eat the same breakfast every time, every day, have the same workout routine. So a lot of things are automatic, and I like that, don't get me wrong. But the idea here is that in order to become more conscious, we want to shake us out of this automatic behavior. We don't want to have a life where we do everything automatically. We want to have a life where we are conscious and we act intentionally. So I'm quickly going to go through all the 40 challenges that I did. The first day, I ran a different route. I usually run the same route every day. Now I tried a different one. Second day, I did cherry jam. I've never done jam before. Turned out pretty tasty. Third day, picked a vegetarian alternative, something that I seldom do, especially not when I'm getting burgers. Day 4, I was walking around without shoes in town. It was pretty nice. It didn't feel as awkward as I expected it to. Day 5, listening to audiobooks at 3x speed. I usually listen to normal speed on audiobooks actually, and this actually opened up the possibility of listening to audiobooks at a faster pace, which I haven't done before. So that was one discovery. I slept with my feet on the pillow, so upside down, or what do you call it? I jumped from a high place. I jumped from a very high pier, something that I don't usually do. On day 8, I slept in the car instead of on the sofa when I was going to have a nap. I tried playing soccer golf. I bought fiction books. I usually only buy non-fiction books. Then there were some less concrete challenges as well, like spending a day not complaining about how tired I am, ignoring like when things that trigger me, and try to be more non-reactive in situations, with my kids especially. That was one challenge. I have this stretching routine as well, and I did a new one of those. That was like smaller things. Stop biting my nails. I still haven't started biting my nails again, and I never will. Running again, because it's something I do. I ran without any technology. Also ran with counting, just counting up 1 to 10, 1 to 10 over and over again during my run as like a meditation experience. So the one piece of the experiment that was a bit more ambitious than everything else was my run and starve challenge. The idea was that I wasn't going to eat for the whole day and run a 10k during my lunch break as well on an empty stomach. like, I mean, the running went well, as I remember it, but afterwards, like the hours I had to wait until I was able to eat. I think I did my run at 3 p.m. and I was allowed to eat at 7 p.m. and I was fine. I was super hungry though. But after I ate, I got these cramps in my stomach, and I actually had to lie down. And my youngest daughter, who's a toddler, she had to run around by myself, and I was just incapable of moving. So that was different. I usually postpone meetings if I don't have the privacy to have a Zoom call in a separate room. But instead of doing that, I decided to, okay, I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna have my meetings, and I'm gonna have all the kids around because they were homesick. So that was something that I tried. I ate Snickers with fork and spoon. Then I did some things with social media and digital minimalism. I had a day without my phone. One day I spent walking backwards as much as I could. This was super hard because I forgot it all the time. Another thing was that I gave my children my phone to use for a whole day without any like limitation on it, resulting in a lot of music videos. Another one that I got inspired from a friend on Instagram was that I didn't allow myself to go from one room to another without looking around, see if there is anything that is misplaced in that room, and bring that to the right place in the other room. That would be a quite good habit to instill, because then I would have a much more orderly home. I was also trying ads on Instagram for the first time. I was trying to outsource video editing, which was quite successful. It resulted in a couple of videos that I kind of liked, actually. So that's something that I'm going to continue. Instead of walking, I took the skateboard to daycare. A lot of small things like that. While this is not my most extreme experiment ever, it was quite fruitful, and that's why I wanted to do this lab report, because I think doing this experience makes me very conscious about how much of my everyday behavior is actually automatic and just going on autopilot, and it's quite scary at times. One thing that stood out to me was that it was really hard to come up with something new to do. I wouldn't think that. You would think that it's super easy because it's quite small things that I did, but I found myself stuck several days, like I can't come up with something new to do that would count for this experiment. And also how easy it was to forget to do something new. But since the experiment was 40 days, I started to get into the mindset thing. It reminded myself, and that was one of the main insights from this, that I became more conscious about my behavior. And I think that's one of the big takeaways when you do this, like how much is automatic, and you can do things in other ways, and you get actually a lot from trying new things. Running in a different route, I discovered new areas where I haven't been before and saw things from another perspective. Like the running and starving experiment, that was a stupid idea, but it worked, and in my mind I thought it wouldn't. So there's like these small insights you get from trying this new stuff every day. One of the things that I've noticed now that it's been a while since I did this challenge is that how easy it is just to slip back into autopilot, because that's what's happening now. I don't try new things at all at the same rate as I did when during this experiment. But I think my main takeaway is that when you do this kind of novel things in everyday life, you create so much more memories and you feel much more awake and present. And I think that's the biggest benefit. And I've also realized that during this month and a couple of weeks, I created a lot of memories for myself because I did things the other way. It felt like my mind turned on and unexpected things happened. It was maybe not, it was actually in the smaller experiments, like it's the small tweaks that I did to my life, like running a different route, switching my fork and spoon hand, started to write with the wrong hand, stuff like that, that led to the most interesting insights and just aha moments. So I would actually urge you to try this. It's spend 40 days doing something new every day. Document it. Record your experience by writing a journal. I think it's a great experiment to do. And if you're interested in the book, also check out the King's Curriculum. It's a quite interesting and different book about self-initiations for self-rulers, and it details this experiment quite well. And the author also shares his experience doing this experiment himself. Just prepare yourself. It's good to shake yourself out of the automatic behaviors from time to time. Which reminds me that I should do something different today maybe. So I'll see what that will be. Take care.